Adrien was like, no, I got this. He knew that we were trying to make cinema, and we did. We rented the whole train, very risky. We only had 30 minutes to shoot a very complex and ambitious shooting list. That's the sun, Oliver moving a mirror behind. It was just chaos. In one moment I was like, I'm not liking this. This is not going well. And he was like, okay, stop for a moment. Look at this, amazing. Just trust. This is the shot. Simple movement. With less, you're telling more. I created a playlist for each scene and giving him cues, like imagine that you're watching the mountain, but that mountain symbolizes your relationship with your mother, and he can tap into something that he can relate and give us more layers. It's like an echo of his inner world. Transit to that intangible world and then going to that portal and then going back.
But at the end of the day, we're selling a product, no? Every now and then, the right brand hires the right actor and makes something like this. A truly elegant and poetic piece of cinema that kinda makes me want to spend $700 on a suitcase.
It's like the portal. It's the transitional object that guides us.
And to pull it off, they were smart. They sought out exactly the right person for the job, Alexis Gómez, whose style of work reflects the precise tone, elegance, and emotional resonance that the brand was aiming for.
It's about the intrinsic force that interconnect all elements.
I was intrigued to find out just how stripped back and simple the production was. Like, I'm wondering if all you really need is the right face, under the right light, and a perfectly planned production schedule. Or does it involve something more intangible?
When you have all the elements there, it's not difficult.
What's up guys, Dylan here. Real quick, I just want to let you know that FrameSet has a new site. It's faster, it's cleaner, it's more intuitive, and when I say faster, I mean it also includes a new featured page, which you can go to and check out new standout work. The link is in the description. Okay, thanks. Alexis Gómez, welcome.
Hi.
I've been familiar with your work for some time now. The Subtle Things for Alpha Beer, Nike, We Are Family, Young Bao, each one carries your signature touch. But when it comes to this piece, it stars one of the most recognizable faces in cinema history, Adrien Brody.
You know the way?
Dude, what were your feelings when you knew he was tied to the project?
Well, this project is about synchronicities. The concept is about how everything is connected or interconnected. And
Getting closer.
I found out that he was involved when I saw the Brutalist.
My cousin here is a licensed architect, specialist in renovations. He even designed a library back at home before.
2 weeks later, I got this email that they wanted me to direct this piece. So Kismet, the project is called, it's about the kind of like the intrinsic force that interconnect all the elements.
Would I know for commercials you're always either pitching on one, working on one. What did it look like for this one? Did you pitch as part of a process, or was this a single bid?
No, yeah, it was a single bid, and I was amazed by the trust the agency and the client had during all the process, because they wanted that I was going to share my signature. They wanted that style.
Yeah, so they wanted you for your specific voice.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
It's always changing, but I really relate about how to transit into the different realms of reality. And I think that this piece has that, like how we can go into an intangible world where it's more about inspiration, about more of sensations, of of almost like oniric sensations, and how do we come back and then go back to that reality where everything is concrete and it's more logic or more understandable. So that transit of going to those realms, I feel I'm always living in those two realities.
This piece, Kismet, what's an example of that in it, where you feel like that really you were able to shape it in that way?
Well, we have different scenes. For instance, in the train, when he starts to kind of like be immersed by the sensation of the postcard. There's a moment when he gets lost in his thoughts, and then he goes back again when the guy of the train kind of like tap into reality again. So it's like transit to that untangible world, and then going to that portal where it's more about the sensations, and then going back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like through reflections, through unfocused shots, through the abstract of this dreamy state. It's like an echo of his inner world, and then we go back to the reality. So we were always, that was my main purpose, to go into his inner world, a very sensorial world, and then go back to reality.
Yeah, and I can feel that from the very beginning, even with what you did with the sound design.
What do I know?
It starts out very muffled almost in his head, and as soon as the title comes up, we snap into a totally different soundscape where you can hear the train, and he almost wakes up. I mean, I feel that within the first few seconds.
I'm really drawn into the symbolic worlds, where something that is not close, like a concept that is not close, could speak to a lot of audience. So that's why we have like ambiguous phrases that could like mean a lot of different meanings. So I'm really drawn into phrases that are open, like they're not a tight concept. It's something that we let it open so the viewer can fill that empty spot with their own memories. That's kind of like the same with the kind of framing. I really like this evocative framing where it's more about to not show so the viewer can recreate that rest of that other picture with their own experiences.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I think most people can relate to, like traveling to a new place and moving, like being in transit, brushing your shoulders, little interactions, a little window into someone else's life. I think that's what stood out to me about this, is that like I can absolutely feel that.
Like the journey, it's not always, it's more about the inside, right? It goes, you travel your body to a new place. So it's about that, translating your body to a new place, but it's more about the inner world that transforms and also travels.
Absolutely.
Like film is emotion, no? We are always sharing an emotional transference to other, and that was our goal. Like, how do we share like an emotion that's more oniric into a tangible journey?
Yeah, I think you've done that so beautifully. I'd love to try and dig into, because there's the idea, the concept, what we're after. And then there's the every little decision you have to make technically in order to make that happen in front of the camera and capture it in a way. All the pieces in place, the structure of something so that this magic can be captured. I want to dig in a little bit to a few scenes as to maybe how you did that. Like with this train scene here. I mean, let's break it down. Did you guys just like rent a train for an afternoon to shoot this?
No, that was the fun part, because that was a national train. We only had 30 minutes to shoot the whole sequence, because if we didn't go out the train, we're going to go to another city, like very far from our next location. So I remember Oliver saying like, wow, this is like I've never done this. Like, it's very risky because we have Adrien Brody and we have a very complex and ambitious shooting list. And the way we prep it, it was like we rented the whole train, the whole like kind of like a wagon, yeah. And we rented several parts of the wagon, so we could like prep different angles with different tripods and yeah, how we can rig the camera. So it was really fun because we had to kind of like jump to the next room, only grabbing the camera and just putting in a new tripod that was already fixed and with the angle we wanted. And also, it's very special, that scene, because there I understood the dynamic with Adrien. Adrien loves to play with resources that are more intangible as well, like music, like symbols. So I created a playlist that for each scene, and in that train moment, I was kind of like setting the tone with the music and giving him some cues. Like, imagine that you're watching the mountain, but that mountain symbolizes your relationship with your mother. And I really love to create with a methodology of analogies. So there are these open concepts, so the actor can like tap in their own memories and give us more layers. Mm. Also combining the music and the right light and him giving so many nuances of expression, it was just blown away. We were just kind of like, we couldn't like cut, because it was so perfect. It was one shot, it was almost sharing a lot of depth, and we were just so immersed, so hypnotized.
I mean, it's clear that you know how to work with actors, non-actors alike, to capture authentic moments. If I watch any of your work, you have a clear skill for that. But what was it like working with someone like Adrien Brody, whose entire life has been lived out on the screen? And not just screens, but like big ones. What did you learn from him? What did you learn from someone who's on that caliber?
Yeah. First of all, I was admiring his mastery of expressing like nuances and sustain like that nuances for a long time. So he was able to imagine I was just giving the direction of turn. He was gonna give me so many layers of turning through the gaze, through the gesture. So I was just blown away by the complexity of a simple gesture he can offer.
Yeah, I mean, was that a challenge? I know that in some commercial sets, the number one on the call sheet is there for a very limited amount of time. And most of the production is shaped around this small window that you have with them. How did you guys go about it? What was your actual time with Adrien? Did you find moments in which you could really sit and play with something?
Yeah, well, it was, this was before he got the Oscar, and it was funny because the day of the shooting, it was the day of when he got nominated. So it was, again, synchronized. It was a very synchronized moment. I met him in my birthday as well, like through a Zoom, and it was all about very, very meaningful space and time moments that were synchronized to create this. So yeah, we shot with him 2 days of 10 hours, so it was very generous time, but we were really ambitious as well, and we had a very chronological and narrative shooting list. So it was almost like shooting a movie with him. Oliver brought a lot of techniques I didn't know. Like, we shot with 2 cameras, and he he showed me like new ways of kind of like approaching to to the craft, because he's very methodological, but also very concentrated to create a lot. So he brought a lot of a lot of craft.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that he did. I mean, full disclosure, I've spoken with Ollie before in a prior episode, and I'm aware of his scientific genius when it comes to crafting beautiful images, dude. What's something in this piece where you look at it and you go, that's 100% there because Ollie Miller brought it to the table?
Yeah, well, the shot of the shadow, that was captured or found out by Oliver. He was just, I love that Oliver has also very playful energy that I have, that we're constantly being curious about what the space offers us. So we were on the recce, and there was this moment when we found out there was a double reflection, and he was like, this is the shot. Like, having Adrien Brody here with his double reflection and double nose is like, it's impossible to do it, to recreate it. It's just natural light, but it's simple but very powerful as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everything about this is so clean and elegant. And I look at this window, if I were to walk on set looking for opportunities for shots, I would look at this dirty window and go, man, we probably don't want to show that. It's not clean. But someone like Oliver can look at a dirty window and know the way that light plays, the way that light works, and sees probably an opportunity that I know I wouldn't see.
Yeah, and also it was really cloudy that day, and it was just a little period of time that we had the sun there, and that shot is because of the sun. So we were lucky to be there in time and space again.
I also know that Oliver likes to be as involved as he can in pre-production. What did that look like? How did you guys work together before stepping on set?
Well, yeah, I created this breakdown shoot list where instead of only indicating what kind of shots I wanted to have, I always like to focus on what was the motion of each shot. So what was the kind of like, the emotional impact we want to achieve. So I created this list of what does it mean each shot, which emotion represent each shot. So how we can translate that emotion into something more technical. So again, that abstraction or intangible world that is more dreamy, how do we can accomplish that through sound and image?
Yeah, keep it more general, know what you're going for, and then find it technically on the day. I think it's really relying on the people around you to find that.
Yeah, I guess the bottom line, it's always what's the emotional transference we want to achieve in this piece. And if you go from those roots and you leave it open, then there's a lot of ways to express that.
I think some directors are very visual. I'm one of them. And I found myself working myself into a corner where I think I know so clearly what it needs to be, and I go down a rabbit hole and I lose time and I lose track of like you said, the bottom line. What are we really after here? What's the emotional tone that we need? What's the story that we're really telling, as opposed to focusing on shots on a shot list?
Yeah, I feel this is a powerful approach to find diplomacy in the chaos with the client or with the confusion of client and agency, maybe. Because if we're talking about, okay, we want to share this emotion, and if it's not working, the frame, the movement, the music, whatever, we can always go back to that root and create from there.
No, totally. I mean, I want to talk about the reality of this piece here. I mean, without a doubt, it's beautiful and cinematic, a true work of art. And they hired Alexis Gómez for this piece. They chose you for this piece because they knew you could bring what you brought to it. But at the end of the day, we're selling a product, no? What's it like incorporating that very beautiful mono suitcase in each scene?
Well, I think everything is about the integrity or coherence of everything. So the product feels very coherent with Adrien, very coherent with the concept. Even we have that scene when we have this live reflection through the suitcase. And it's possible because of the product, no? The way that it's built, the design, the texture. So, and that is kind of like the guide through the next scene. It's like the portal. It's the transitional object that guides us through home.
I love this scene and how you did it. How much of it was discovered on set, and how much of it was planned? This shot here, where the suitcase turns, the light reflects onto our woman in the window, and the keys. I mean,
Yeah, those are 3 different locations.
cool.
So we were 2 weeks constantly looking for a perfect window, constantly looking for a perfect texture of that reflection on the wall. Because of the permits, because of the timing of Adrien, that's actually, it's not Adrien, it's an extra.
This shot here.
Yeah, that shot.
Nice.
We brought his pens after he left. We had his pens, so we shot that with an extra with Santiago. Well, it's actually from one with the agency creator, the creative director of the project. That's him. That's Santiago, and it's really fun because everything or everyone were involved in the creation of this project. At the end, the agency was there. It was creating with us, and that creates an atmosphere of trust or complicity, of connection, where we have more chances to play. I think it's very important to create that dynamic, to not be rigid with these very hierarchical kind of like positions that we have in cinema, where the director is the director, and
right.
You know, like the extra, you cannot talk with the like that doesn't. It's very limited to me. Like we all can create, and we all are an essential part of the creation.
I know oftentimes the client seems to be demonized as the entity that gets in the way of creating your art, but to watch you have a strong level of trust and to be able to align on things and involve them in the production, I mean, I think that's really sick.
Yeah, it's fun.
I want to talk about, I mean, while we're talking about this beautiful golden light, obviously it's a visual motif throughout, you know, but moments like where this light bounces off this man's watch, you know, did you guys set out knowing that it was going to be a theme? Were you constantly looking for opportunities in which to incorporate this golden light that was going to carry the audience throughout the piece? Or was some of it discovered? I just want to know, like, how much of this was planned?
Yeah, well, the intention there of the light bouncing is kind of like being aware of those certain things that complement the inner mystery you're looking for. So if you're present in the moment, you're connected, and suddenly you're looking for something, whatever you're looking for, and suddenly you see a sign or a light that is telling you that specific word that will speak to you, that will open this kind of like mysterious and poetic impact in you, and you will kind of like go to another place.
Yeah.
So that was my personal like goal to accomplish that. And I remember Oliver saying that it was like this scavenger hunt where you're looking for treasures, that you find a treasure and then you go and find another.
Yeah.
That was the main goal of all the campaign. How can we go from a treasure to another treasure in a very cinematic and evocative language?
Yeah.
So we introduced the postcard there. We have a connection, and then suddenly it flies away. It gets lost, and then we live life, things happening, and towards the end, Adrien didn't know that the postcard was lost, but then he found it again and connected in another way.
Yeah.
What does the postcard to you felt when you saw it again? How does it felt to see the postcard again?
What do I know?
To me, it felt like an old friend, someone who'd been, I think friends are like that. Especially the good ones, the ones we keep around forever.
I know that everything
You see them and then you don't for a while.
is connected.
Sometimes you forget that they're there, sometimes, and then in the end, you always end up reconnecting. My best friends, no matter what, I always end up reconnecting at some point. And so when I watched that, that's kind of what it made me feel.
Love it. Yeah, and you discover more, no? You discover the layers.
We change. We change and see new places and understand things about ourselves. And
you value, again, I guess, it's very important to value or revalue things because maybe you didn't know how much important for you they were. Like that postcard, when you find it again, you're like, okay, this is elemental to me.
100%. Yeah, you did some really beautiful stuff with this, man. For it to be a commercial for a suitcase, it sure meant a whole lot to watch.
Yeah, it looks kind of like complex, but we were very, like, for instance, that final shot on there, that's the son, Oliver moving a mirror behind because the gaffer didn't know how to move things because we were in Morocco. It was just chaos. And Oliver was like, you gotta shoot it. And I was operating the camera. And we were just Adrien, the location, the sun, the reflection, and us. So you don't need that many elements to create.
Yeah, I think this is the most iconic. Like if I were to pick one image, one frame from this entire piece, I think this very simple lighting setup you did, this very simple static shot, is it for me.
Yeah, and it's funny because the postcard the agency didn't had conceptualized the postcard. So with Jimena Prieto, that it's like the writer or the one who amplified the writing, she came up with this idea of the postcard to have it as a connecting thread during the film. And when we presented to the client, they were like, oh, this is amazing because we've been thinking for a while that we're gonna create like a postcard for, I don't know, for branding purposes. So again, it was synchronized with everything. So it felt very fluent. And
I imagine some clients, they might have looked at this thread that doesn't involve the product as maybe a distraction from the piece, but they looked at it as an opportunity.
yeah, and that postcard we were looking for a month in all Morocco because it's used, it's vintage, so it has.
Yeah, where did you get that thing?
We got it from the art director. He brought it from another city, but it has these hearts and it has these drawings, and
Yeah.
you see the history there. And even that we don't understand it because it's written in Morocco, we identify with the energy that the postcard evokes. And I feel that's the same kind of like goal that I like to share on my films. Like, you don't know the context, you don't know maybe the language, like there, you don't understand what it's saying, but you're feeling it, and it's entering to you because you're connecting. So that's the only thing that matters, because if the film enters, then the mystery of the impact will be very big for each one of us. That's the powerful cinema. No? You don't know how big the impact will be because it's singular as well. It's for our inner selves.
It's certainly related to me. I mean, I'd like to go to antique stores and I always find piles of old postcards just for pennies. And they have all these messages and history, and the front of it's beautiful, right? But the back of it has a lot of like past experiences forgotten.
And you identify, no, without knowing, without the logic, you identify with the energy of it.
100%. I don't need the backstory. I don't need to know all the pieces. I mean, even if it's in a totally different language, I think like what it represents is something pretty relatable.
Oh yeah, also the book, that was very interesting. I have the book here.
Oh, nice.
So this is one of the books. Well, this is the book. The phrases you see. Oh wow! I just opened it and it's the page. Okay, so I gave this book to Adrien and I said, pick whatever page, and kind of like underline the phrases that you relate. And it's very interesting because this is the phrases that he chose while we were shooting, because this is it was on the project, and he selected. Well, you can see here. He selected travel, imagination, hunger, travelers, brotherhood, watches, wilderness. So from all this chaos, he selected concepts or emotions that he will relate and felt like home, no? So I find this very precious because it's like a way to know him as well. Like I can meet who he is through the things that he can relate.
I love the lengths you go to incorporate these little things. Now, I mean, to some people, they might not quite get it. They might see it quickly, and it might just be this beautiful thing that they see, and they might not know why it makes them feel a certain way. But you as the director, I think it's your job to know why and to be very intentional with all these things, you know, so that someone else can just simply watch it and feel, maybe without knowing why.
Yeah. And when we were shooting that scene, it was very like a playground because we were on this table with this natural light and we were just kind of like playing and giving twist. And, you know, at the end, it's all about playing. So of course, if you have the tools, you have the lighting, a camera, the rest is playing and having time to play. So a lot of precious shots in there, it comes from that energy, from the energy of keep exploring, keep finding creative ways of having a better shot. And also kind of like breaking the rationality of how do you want the things, you know, like, because sometimes we really want a specific shot with a specific movement and light. And sometimes there are a lot of variables that you don't control and they're suddenly there and there's like, it's a playground to create from those chaotic objects.
Right. I mean, that could be a really interesting balance. How do you create the balance of having enough structure in a shoot day to ensure success while allowing time for spontaneity? Did you walk in knowing like, here's the main shots that we need? And did you leave time in the schedule to play with the book and the postcard?
I like to create like timings for each scene. Like we have 2 hours to shoot this scene. Instead of categorizing each shot, I like to leave room to play.
Okay, yeah.
You just explore with the time, yeah.
I want to dive in a little bit to this car scene. First of all, how did you cast some of these characters? Because, I mean, this guy, one of a kind, so perfect.
He's actually one of the crew members. He's Duk Duk. He's one of the location scouter. And the moment I met him, I knew that he was someone very special and very honest. And it was really beautiful because he will, on the shoot with Adrien, he will create a lot of conversations, even that they didn't speak the same language. He was going to open a lot of kind of like well, he will create an atmosphere that feels very friendly and very rich. So no, I'm glad we were open to find him and say, yeah, let's choose him. He's the best.
Yeah.
We all need, as a team, as the client directors and agency and all the team needs to be always open to find those things and utilize those elements as
Yeah.
anchors, creative anchors.
He looks like someone who has wisdom. He's lived a few lives, maybe.
So in that scene, when we were shooting, he was speaking in Spanish about, okay, what's the meaning of life? To Adrien, he was asking, why do you think money exists? Or money doesn't, money is like the destruction of our society. And Adrien was like, yes. And then let's speak about music, let's speak about women. And they were like, women is the most beautiful thing that exists.
Hey, mamá, te quiero mucho.
And moms, and suddenly we had a lot of layers to have a connection.
This must have been an easy scene for Adrien to act in because it looks like he's literally just having a conversation with this man in an authentic way, which I think is cool.
You know, it's all about just placing all the elements that feels right in the same frequency, and then let it happen, because then the magic happens. If I didn't plan that I wanted to talk about the theme of motherhood or family, it wouldn't happen. But because kind of like we were open to be flexible and bring all the elements that felt right, felt coherent with the concept, then all the magic unfolds.
Now, did you have someone originally casted for this, and then have to make a tougher decision about replacing them with Duk Duk?
No, while we were, as soon we met Duk Duk, he was like, oh, we don't need to cast anyone. He's the one. Also, the guy from the Tangerines is from someone of the crew.
Cool.
Like, it's all about kind of like that collective energy that we were aligned. And then, I don't know, we just kept it with the flow of that spark that we had as a friends, as a team.
Yeah.
And then translate that energy into the screen. And it's more easy because
Right.
we already construct that energy before.
I'm just trying to picture you on set, especially for this car scene. Like, when this is happening, are you in the car? I mean, where are you? And how are you directing?
Oliver is operating the camera. Next to the luggage, I am there, like in a little corner, hitting. The focus puller is in the trunk.
Always the AC in the trunk, or the sound person.
The sound, we let it recording, and we had some range of where to go and then when to turn back. And again, it was just let it happen with all the elements that we had. We had music, we had themes that they relate, and then, okay, let's just keep playing with that. I knew I wanted to have like a pan, a very thoughtful camera movement that will kind of like synthesize all the layers of the space, Duk Duk, the reflection, Adrien, the luggage. I liked the visual style of condensing a lot of elements in one shot. Because you're telling a lot with a simple movement.
Mm-hmm.
Like poems, or like, again, it's evoking, it's creating with less, with less you're telling more, no?
Yeah. Well, also, it's like you have so many moments of all of these elements in their own shot, and sometimes they're flipped through quickly, but then you choose a moment to show all of them together in a way that introduces them with a really steady and simple pan. I think it's important to, like, if you're going to show multiple things, show a moment in which they all combine in one shot. And for that reason, I think this is one of my favorite shots of the whole piece.
I love that. Yeah, because at the end, being in the right place at the right time, you don't need anything else. And to be there, we needed to plan to be there. We scouted that place. But at the end, it's very easy to do things. Well, at least when you have all the elements there, it's not difficult to create magic.
Yeah.
It's more difficult to find that simplicity and honest message you want to say than trying to copy or kind of like, oh, I want this because we're in this time where there are a lot of references and it's very easy to copy or to I don't know to create from an art. But to me, it's more difficult to understand who you are and then express that identity, that emotional identity through the tools of cinema.
Yeah.
I think this piece as a whole is a great example of, it's a gift to me to keep trusting in my voice, and the most sincere you are, the most honest and coherent you are,
Yeah.
life will be aligned, and you will receive these kind of projects like Kismet.
Yeah.
As I said, it was a single bid and I didn't struggle to get it. Sometimes as directors, we struggle too much to get projects and pitch and do amazing like concepts. And sometimes it's more about like being aligned with being in the right time and right space and let it be.
Yeah, I fully agree. It's amazing that you were approached for your own specific voice. You've also put a lot of time and energy into creating that, into making that. You know, I think like struggle is inevitable, and it takes a lot of struggle to get us to find what that voice is, you know, so that we can get the call to jump on the Adrien Brody commercial.
Keep fighting for your voice and not trying to compare with anybody. Keep being coherent. I think coherent is a important value in our lives, but also in artistic value. You need to be, even in different genres or different themes that you're going to explore, at the end, it's always your perspective. And if you're coherent to your perspective, then it will be always very aligned. Your magic will come because everything is in an alignment.
So it would not have been a production without something going wrong, something not going to plan. I mean, you've got 20 hours with your principal actor. What's something that went wrong on this shoot? And then how did you navigate it to turn it into magic? Because I know you did.
Well, we shoot 3 days.
Yeah.
Like one of the lighting guys broke like an 18K light. It was very big, and they were a lot of like things like this, a lot of technical misalignments. But at the end, we were able to again to be open and to play with that mirror. And okay, this is the only tool we have. Let's adapt and let's create from that.
Oh, I see. So the final scene, the sunlight was going to be an 18K, but it broke.
Yeah. Oh, I thought in another kind of like light. I wanted to have a light that moves, that condense time and space, and suddenly we are like kind of like time is going faster. But that we couldn't achieve that. But we got that light reflection, that it was more subtle and it was at the end more aligned with the desire of sharing that synchronicity. So I'm glad that happened, and I'm glad that also Oliver. In one moment, I was like, I'm not liking this, and like this is not going well, and he was like, okay, stop for a moment, look at this, amazing, just trust. It's very important to have those kind of companions that say like trust. And I think I'm someone that I like to go beyond limits. And actually, I remember from that frame, we entered to a place without a permit, and at the end, we got stopped by the police, and they were like, give us your passports, and you're gonna be.
Oh, wow. It got serious.
Well, we had the permit, but we didn't had the time. It wasn't the right time to enter there.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. I'm someone that I like to go to the chaos and
Yeah.
not be safe. You have to all the time risk, and then you're gonna get the magic.
Yeah, I think most filmmakers who have created something good know what it's like to ask for forgiveness rather than permission.
Yeah, all the time to me you have to risk and fight for your vision. And again, that's why it's important to me at least go with the concept of the emotional impact you're gonna share, and don't be stubborn with, oh, this is the way that I wanna shoot this because I wanna shoot this. Like,
Yeah. And I mean, for a moment, just talking about the way that Alexis Gomez likes to shoot, you're not afraid to hold the frame and let a moment unfold in a static shot. But with this piece, I noticed there's a good bit of camera movement. Like, what was your approach with your movement? And how did you and Ali achieve it?
I think I always like to have steady and thoughtful movements. I like the camera should feel like heavy and very intentional. So the challenge here were like, okay, we have a certain moment with Adrien and with the train and all these complications. Oliver brought a second body of camera, and we were able to build from there as well. Like when we were prepping the camera and the dolly, we were going to quickly run and grab more things with another camera. So that helped us a lot.
Even the camera movement you are doing, most of it is pretty steady and minimal.
But it's complex because here we have a very thoughtful blocking that we need to prep a lot, and then Adrien needed to drop in a natural way the postcard, and we were first gonna do it with like I don't know, like invisible thread to pull it. But then Adrien was like, "No, I got this. Like, I know how to do this, and let it sit it with me." And he was like, just explore it, and he did it. He really did it well.
Wow, dropping the postcard, you mean? That
Yeah,
motion of him
exactly. Dropping the
it.
postcard. Yeah.
I love it when pros are like, I got this. I know what I'm doing. Trust me.
Yeah.
This is definitely a question for Ollie Miller and not you. But do you know what's going on with this weird looking 2-piece camera setup?
Oh,
What
yeah.
did you guys, what did you choose in terms of like lenses, the eyes in which to see this piece?
Well, Oliver has this system of. I remember he told me that he likes to place camera where our iPhone should, like, we're really used to place the camera where our iPhone is, no? Like where our iPhone can be. Because right now we're in these times where we prep everything in a very, with the iPhone. So it's very flexible.
Yeah.
And now that we have all these big bodies and light and all these big tools, he has to be very light. So he's shooting there with a Venice camera, and there's this adjustment when the body is on the dolly there, and then this is like an external external tool to have the camera very light.
So the body is sitting there in a bag, but the actual sensor with the
Exactly, yeah.
tiny lens on it is more mobile. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's awesome.
Yeah, he likes to be very free, because usually the cameras are full of cables and monitors and things, and here you feel free and you just need to move the camera like you were moving your iPhone.
So many times we're using iPhones for viewfinders, and it's so easy to just take the little thing and put it in these odd places. But then when it comes, like you said, when it comes to putting your huge camera setup, it gets you start to lose what you originally wanted out of seeing it on your phone.
And then also he has this system of putting on a like I don't know, like in a stabilize tool.
Oh, the gimbal.
The gimbal, yeah. We were able to shift very quickly from tripods and then this gimbal, and then like it was all about being light and free in movement.
Yeah.
Like in there, we were shooting there and then running to the next corner where we have a perfect lighting and okay, 10 minutes to shoot that and then keep running all the time. We were really ambitious. And Adrien was very down. He was like, the minute he understood that was our dynamic, he was like, okay, let's do it.
So he was really nimble with his way of working. I mean, he probably wasn't too far off the set of The Brutalist.
Exactly, yeah. He was really committed, and he also joked like, oh, now you have like a little film. Like he knew that we were trying to make cinema, and we did. And yeah, he understood that.
Well, wrapping up here, Alexis, what's something that you learned from this project?
Yeah, is what I said before. Like this project was a proof that I could be me, I could be honest, I could be coherent with my expression in a more complex and with a more responsibility project, no? With Adrien, with...
Yeah.
So it's like believing in my voice, I think is the answer. Keep believing in your voice, keep exploring, keep being playful. I learned a lot with Oliver how to find new ways of shooting, like exploring new cameras, new... all the time think about the story and the emotion that you're trying to express. Okay, this location works, yes and no, because if it's a yes, because it's aligned with the emotion. If it's not, would you imagine that Adrien will do this on a trip with this concept? Okay, no, then we don't choose that. So it was always coming to the roots of our creative values that we already established before we even started the project, because it's us.
Yeah. Staying true to that, relying on your crew, building a team and having trust with each other. Sounds like the through line here.
Yeah, and also believing in that everybody is gonna be fighting for the vision of this project. Like this magic will happen because the producers made a lot. It's Betalina made a lot. Is one of the producers, and I don't know. Everybody gave a lot.
Let me ask you this: what would you say to a filmmaker who's trying to break through and find their own voice?
Yeah, every time now I've realized that my style, it's not only my style, it's the style I relate, no? So, of course, we're giving directions of that style that it already exists. Like, we're living in this world where there are a lot of, like, patterns that we relate. So, I think I'll share the advice of being open in every moment of your life to find those patterns or those archetypes or those symbols or those passions that you relate and feels like home. Like even a conversation with your family, a theme that comes, or a specific combination of colors of a song heard on the street, whatever complements and speaks to the kind of like this passion or this archetype that you relate. So it's kind of like first being open to understand or to to make like a notebook with the things that you're passionate about, and then when you're understanding what are the things that you relate, you're gonna create from there, and you're gonna explore and gains more layers from that.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it sounds too abstract, but it helps to me. I'm someone that I'm very categorized as well. So I have these like I like to have like a methodology of organization of how I can organize my creativity. So like I have this archive of things that I relate and that speak the same language. So
you keep track of that. You take stock of it. You define it.
yeah, exactly. And not only about references. I understood that the more categorized you section your creativity, the more easy access you can go. So, like for instance, I have, I don't know, like a folder of sensoriality impact, no? But those selections of pieces is the way I relate and I speak that kind of emotion of sensoriality. Because maybe for you, sensoriality could mean a lot of things. It could be a different sensation that you. So that's why it's important to me that I categorize the things I love, and then that's how I can go back and say, okay, this feels like home, and I can create from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it sounds like that's a huge part of what makes your work feel so consistent.
Yeah, it's like Alexis Gomez, but I feel like it's more about like an energy that I relate. No, it's not only myself. It's the energy I relate. That a lot can relate, because it's not like we can be lost on, okay, this is my style and this is my voice, and no, like, and at the end we all have the access to create from that style. So it's not whatever name style, it's more about the style we relate and can create from there.
Cool. Well, Alexis, thanks so much, dude. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. I love to reflect in my process, and I love the approach you have on keep digging into the creative process. So it's been fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for digging with me, dude. We'll talk soon.